Our notes from yesterday. This is the last example we did in class, correct? Hold on, let me get y'all calculators. Okay, now that we have calculators, back to our notes. So I need to go over something on this problem with you real quick, because you're going to see it a different way on the test, so I need to go over that. For our increasing, decreasing intervals, you won't see it like an inequality on the test. You'll see it actually in interval notation. Okay? Does anyone remember interval notation? We did talk about that in chapter 1. Anybody? Okay. So, for increasing, we said it was for all values that are less than -3, correct? Maybe. Well, is that what it says on the board? And on your paper? X is less than -3. My function is increasing all the way from the left all the way up to -3 on my x-axis, correct? So, how I would write that in interval notation is from -infinity to +3, it is increasing. So this is how you will see it on the test on Tuesday. Test is going to be Tuesday, not Friday, okay? Tuesday. Because y'all aren't in school Monday. Okay? Test is Tuesday. We have a professional development day Monday.
I know that, but like, why would we put Tuesday instead of Friday if we don't have school?
Because we're reviewing tomorrow, Friday.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Are you giving a study guide?
Yes.
Can I get it today? I'm not gonna be here.
I might be able to print it off after class, but I don't have any printed right now. And same for anyone else who won't be here tomorrow. So for decreasing, what do you think my interval is going to look like if it's all the values that are greater than -3? It's not going from my increasing is going from -infinity to 3, correct? -infinity all the way up to to 3? No, that's -3, isn't it? All the way from -infinity to -3, it's increasing. Where is it decreasing? Starts decreasing at which value? X value. -3. And it's going off to the right. So is it going to -infinity?
No.
It's going to positive infinity. So these are going to be how you see them on the test. Okay? So it's increasing from -infinity to -3. Decreasing from -3 to positive infinity. Does everyone see that? Okay, are there any questions on this example that we did yesterday and finished today? Can I move on to our last one? Okay. Here it is. Gives us our function f of x equals -x to the 4th plus 4x squared minus 1. Okay, once again, it wants the same things. It wants my x-intercepts, y-intercepts, increasing, decreasing, our turning points, our local max, and our local mins. So let's start with our x-intercepts. Where does it look like it's crossing the x-axis at? On your paper, on the board.
2 and 2.
-2 and 2. Let's go ahead and write those down.
Oh, and yeah.
What are the ordered pairs?
-2, 0.
-2, 0.
2, 0.
2, 0. It does look like it might be a little off of 2, so let's double check this. There's a way we can check this with our graphing calculators. So turn your graphing calculators on. Go ahead and graph our function. Go to the y equals button. Clear out any equations that are there. And then go to your first equation and type in -x to the 4th plus 4x squared minus 1. Once you graph it, it should look like what's on your paper. Graph our function on your paper. Or on your graphing calculator. Everyone get it typed in and get it graphed. This is important that you do this and you're paying attention, because you're going to be able to use these on your test on Tuesday. So it's important that you figure out how to use them. Okay? Does everyone have it typed in and graphed? Hmm? Your graph should look like what's on the board, what's on your paper. Okay. These are our x-intercepts, correct? What else do we call x-intercepts? Zeros, right? So there's a function on our calculator that can help me find zeros. So on your graph, everyone sees their graph on their calculator, right? Hit the second button, the blue button, top left corner. Second, and then up at the top, there's a row of buttons. Does everyone see those buttons? Hit the trace button, because above it says calculate. And a menu should pull up that says value, zero, minimum, maximum, intersect, so on and so forth. Does everyone see that menu?
Wait, say it again.
Huh?
Say it again.
You should see a menu that says value, zero, minimum, maximum, intersect. Did you hit second trace? Okay, now you see it. What did we say we call our x-intercepts? Zeros. Do you see a zero button? Scroll down to 0 and click enter. It should take you back to your graph. Is everyone back at their graph? With the little cursor blinking in the middle of their graph. Okay. We're wanting to find our zeros, our x-intercepts. I want to double check and make sure that it's -2, 0, and 2, 0. Does everyone see how it says left bound question mark in the lower left corner? So I need to get the left bound of the 0, -2. So I'm going to go just to the left of that 0. So right down here. So move your arrow, your cursor over to that flashing dot. Gets to the left of that 0 or just below it. Does everyone get that? Everyone's flashing dot is below their x-axis, below -2. Click enter. Now it should say right bound. Does everyone see right bound on the calculator? Now I'm going to get to the right of the 0. So I'm going to come to the right of the 0. It'll be somewhere up in here. Get your blinking cursor up in that area. So everyone's blinking cursor somewhere up in here. Once it is, click enter. It should say guess question mark. Does everyone see guess question mark? Go ahead and just click enter. We don't have to take a guess. And what does it say our 0 is?
Error.
You got error? Anyone else getting a 0 other than error? Not -0.5.
-1.
You gotta go to the left bound, so you gotta go just to the left of the 0. Enter. Then you go just above. Enter. Yes, enter. There you go. You see yours? Yeah, that's it. There you go. Go 0. Now go to the left, just below your 0. Keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. There, oh, up, right one more. There you go, click enter. Now go right there, enter, enter again. There you go. What's our x value there? Is it -2? Is our x value -2? What is it? -1.93, right? So I've got to erase my -2, 0. So my ordered pair,
It's at 1.93 on each side.
say it again,
I'm looking at it now. Now it's at 1.93 on each side.
-1.93, 0. Now I'm going to do the same thing just to double check, make sure it's not 2, 0 on the right one. So can everyone follow those same steps? Except when I'm getting the left bound of this 0, my left bound is going to be up in here. My right bound will be down here. Okay? So do the same thing. Second, calculate. Go to 0. Move your blinking cursor just above that x-axis. Your right bound will be right below the x-axis. And what are we getting for it once we get it? Everyone get 1.930? So if I'm trying to find an x-intercept, I can use that 0 function on my calculator. So if on the test it asks for a 0, you can graph it, use that 0 function. Everyone got it? Okay, y-intercept. I've got to see where it's crossing my y-axis. So where is this crossing my y-axis? What ordered pair? 0, -1. Everyone okay with that? Okay, increasing, decreasing. We're going to use interval notation. We're not going to use those inequalities. Okay? Remember, increasing is when my graph is going uphill from left to right. Everyone okay with that? So, can anyone give me one or both of my intervals for increasing? Anyone want to take a shot at it? Based on how we wrote them over here. You know what might actually help us first? Is finding our max and mins. Let's do that first. I apologize. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's find our max and mins, our turning points. Let's find this one first. Is this going to be a max or a min? Max, because it's higher than all the points around it. Right? So it's going to be a local maximum. Can I gauge exactly where that is? What that ordered pair is? No. We can actually use our calculator to do this as well. So, you should already have it graphed, correct? Once again, hit second, trace, and that same menu should pop up. Value, 0, minimum, maximum, so on and so forth. Everyone got that? So what did we say this ordered pair was? Maximum or minimum? Maximum. So what do you think I'm going to click on my menu? Maximum. Click enter on maximum. You're going to kind of do the same thing you did with the 0. It needs a left bound, so I need to go to the left of that ordered pair, so your blinking light should be somewhere in this area. And then it needs a right bound, which is going to be somewhere to the right of that ordered pair. And then click enter for guess, and it will give you your ordered pair. What are we getting for this?
-1.48, comma 2.9.
Negative 1.4 what?
8,
How'd you got 8?
8, 9.
I'm getting 1. Negative 1.41. What was your y value?
Hold on. I got. Now it's gonna be something different.
Anyone else getting negative 1.41? What's our y value?
2.90.
What do we get? 3.
I did nothing.
Try it again real quick. See if you can get it. Do I have any other maximums? Did you get it?
No.
Let me see what you're doing. Maximum.
Do I go right there?
Go a little farther to the right. There. Hold on 1 second. So if you're left bound, you go right there. You right there. I make sure I'm way over to the left. Right down. Oh, you got right there. You're getting really close to that point. I go a little farther. Okay. Okay, do I have any other maximums? Just to the right of the y-axis, correct? Here. Do the same thing. Use your calculator to find that maximum. Second, trace. Make sure you're paying attention. Go down to maximum again. And now your left bound is going to be down here somewhere. Your right bound is going to be down here somewhere. Someone tell me what you're getting after you get it. 1.41, comma 3. Is that what we're all getting?
No.
No? What are we getting?
Not that. I got 0.46.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Everyone click second and trace. Everyone went down to maximum. And clicked enter on maximum. Okay, I put my blinking cursor right about here for the left bound. Okay? For the right bound, I put my blinking cursor about here. And I didn't move it for the guess, I just clicked enter. Tell me if you're getting it again. Did you get it? After we're done with the notes, let me see what you're doing. Okay? Okay. Okay, let's find our local minimum now. How do you think we're going to find our local minimum?
Do the same thing instead of doing maximum and minimum.
Very good. I'm using my calculator. Since I'm trying to find the minimum, I'm going to click minimum instead of maximum. So second, trace, go down to minimum. And now I need a left bound for this valley. So I'm going to put it somewhere up here. I'm going to need a right bound, so I'm going to put it somewhere up here. What are we getting? What are we getting? 0, -1. Very good. Questions how we got those? If you have questions about the calculator, I will try to get with you after we're done going over these notes. Okay? So, what are my turning points? Remember, turning points are where my graph switches from increasing to decreasing and from decreasing to increasing. So what are my turning points? My maximums and my minimums, right? So I just put all three of these ordered pairs on my turning points. -1.41, 3. 1.41, comma 3, and 0, negative 1. Because at each of those points, it's going from increasing to decreasing or decreasing to increasing. Does that make sense? Turning points occur at your maximums and minimums. Now, let's do our increasing, decreasing. Okay? So now we know the x values of our ordered pairs here, here, and here. Correct? My x values are negative 1.41, 1.41, and 0. So, anyone want to take a shot at giving me my intervals for increasing? Remember, we're reading the graph from left to right. When it's going uphill from left to right, it's increasing. When it's going downhill from left to right, it's decreasing. So where is it increasing? Make sure we're paying attention over here and not texting through the calculators. Got me?
Yeah.
It's not what we're going to use those for. Anyone? Take a guess at it.
Negative 1.41. Or, no. 3.
Say it again. Looking at our x values here.
I don't know.
So is 3 one of our x values?
No.
No, it's not. What are our x values for our turning points? Because our turning points are going to be part of our intervals. Because remember, at our turning points, that's when it switches from increasing to decreasing. So what are our x values?
Negative 1.41.
Negative 1.41,
1.41.
1.41,
0.
and 0. So those are going to be some of the numbers that are a part of our intervals for increasing, decreasing. So, for this first part of our graph, right here, is that increasing or decreasing? Is it going uphill from left to right or downhill from left to right? Uphill from left to right. So is it increasing or decreasing? Increasing, right? So is there a starting point for it to start increasing? No. So what would I put?
0. Not done.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know.
infinity.
Infinity.
Negative infinity, right? To the left, it's negative infinity. So it starts increasing from negative infinity all the way to what x value? What is the x value of this turning point right here, this maximum?
Negative 1.41.
Negative 1.41. Does everyone see that? Is that the only spot my graph is increasing? No. Where else is it increasing?
Negative 0, negative 1.
It starts increasing at our minimum, right? What x value is that?
0.
0. All the way up to which x value?
1.41.
So I'm going to put 0, 1.41. Are those the only two spots it's increasing? Yes, it is. So there's my intervals for increasing. Does that make sense? There's no starting point, so it starts at negative infinity, increases all the way until it gets to negative 1.41. Then it switches to decreasing. Then when it hits 0, it starts increasing again, and it increases until 1.41. Does everyone see that? Okay. Now let's talk about decreasing. Raise your hand if you can give me an interval for decreasing. My first interval for decreasing. Ethan?
Negative 1.41 and 1.26.
Starts at decreasing at negative 1.41, correct? And then what x value does it stop decreasing?
1.26.
Not 1.26.
Negative 1.26.
What's the x value of my minimum?
0.
0.
0. Remember, we're reading it from left to right. So it's decreasing from negative 1.41 to 0. That red section of the graph now. Does everyone see that? Negative 1.41 all the way to 0. It stops decreasing and switches to increasing. Is that my only interval of decreasing? No. Where else is it decreasing? Starts decreasing again at 1.41. And then does it have a stopping point for decreasing now? No. So what would I put the interval to? Not negative infinity. Infinity. Because we're reading from left to right. Is it going to stop going right now? Down? No, it's going to just keep going to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. So it's going off to positive infinity. Okay? I know that's kind of hard to grasp, but think about our increasing, decreasing from left to right. That's our x values. We're not worried about our y values for increasing, decreasing. Okay? Are there any questions about x-intercepts, y-intercepts, increasing, decreasing, turning points, local maxes, local mins? It's a lot to take in, but you can use your calculator for a good majority of it. Does that make sense? Okay. There it is. Page 224. Numbers 3 through 6, 7, 16, 17, 23, 31, 37. Ethan, I need to check you out a textbook. Are there any questions about any of our notes that we took yesterday or today? Remember, these intervals are how you will see them on the test. Or these intervals. Okay? You won't see them with the inequalities, you'll see them as the interval notation. We good? Okay, I'm in the recording.